Welcome to the Firefly Tutors TV podcast, where real teachers from all over the country discuss real solutions for parents and educators alike. Here's your host, Marissa Johnston.
Welcome back to The Buzz, brought to you by Firefly Tutors TV. This is part 2 of our conversation with Kelly Wecker of Cleveland, Ohio, where we're discussing motivating students. Enjoy! So let's move into that. What are some ways that parents can get involved in motivating their students?
Absolutely. So when I think about getting students motivated in their tasks, especially when I was a classroom teacher, as well as just today and doing my research this week, preparing for this episode, I thought, what are the tasks that I don't feel motivated to do? It might not be a piece of homework in front of me, but maybe it's a work task on my to-do list sitting right next to me. It might be something throughout my life in my home. And one thing that really came up in my mind was cleaning my stove. I don't feel like I have a good strategy, a good way to clean my stove. There's always those nooks and crannies, things I can't get out, the grease I don't know what to do with. It's just not a fun task for me, and I don't have motivation to do it because no one's really gonna tell me to go clean it. I don't have a good strategy to do it. It's just not going to be something that I want to do. And I think we can transfer those types of tasks into the way a student might feel about tasks. If it's a student, or if it's a task, that they don't feel like somebody else is going to notice, that somebody else is going to see, one homework assignment, why would I do that? It's just a worksheet. We want to make sure and help those students understand that it's going to create a building, it's going to be a building block that's going to create a strong base for their learning in this subject. One assignment might be easy to kind of push aside, but it's going to really be important to help them overall understand the topic and practice the skills that they need to master it. If I'm feeling like it's a task that I don't know how to do, I've never found a good way to do it. Every time I do it, I sort of feel like it's not that great. Rather than, Googling the best 5 ways to clean my stove, I'm going to go to a trusted adult. I'm going to go to a tutor. I'm going to go to a teacher, someone who can help me build a strategy that I can use time after time on that assignment that I may not have felt motivated to do before. Perhaps it's a difficult type of math, like you said, something about converting fractions, or perhaps it's even just writing a persuasive essay. If that's something that you never felt like you had a good strategy to do before, then you're not going to be motivated to do it. So providing students with small chunks of instructions and small steps to reach a goal that they otherwise would not be motivated to do is certainly something that can be helpful. And lastly, we want to make sure to praise when they have done that task. I had a mentor teacher years and years ago use the analogy of imagining your students or your children are like little plants, and where the light shines, that's where they're going to grow. So the plants that you shine your light on, that you give your attention to, that's what's going to continue to grow and continue to happen. So if you're spending so much time shining your light on unwanted behaviors or unfinished assignments, or just presenting it in a not so positive light, because we get frustrated sometimes and we want to point out when something isn't going right, why we have to do it the other way, then those are the behaviors that are going to grow. But if we shine our light on small victories, times where they did set a timer and really read for all that time, or times that they asked an intelligent question or asked a question at all that was going to help them get to a deeper understanding in their assignment. The more we praise those victories and try not to dwell on the failures, we can let students make those mistakes and turn them into teachable moments, but we want to put more attention on the successes, on the behaviors that we want to see more of. And going along with those victories, and using examples from our own lives to better understand tasks that may not seem motivating to our students, we want to point out our own victories and model how you stay motivated yourself. Maybe, again, it is a to-do list. Maybe it's a timer where you just need to get tasks done for a certain number of minutes. Maybe it's some kind of affirmation or something you say to yourself to help yourself stay motivated at work or in those at-home tasks, or anything really in your daily life. If we are honest about those struggles and times that we don't feel motivated, our students can see that it's a normal thing that everyone goes through. They can reach out for help. And again, they may feel more motivated to work on those skills if they see you as their trusted adult working on them as well. As I mentioned with my stove cleaning example, sometimes you need to get outside help. Sometimes all it takes is a little extra help to get motivated. Asking someone, how do you do this? How do you finish this task? Can really help you stay motivated, and we can transfer that to our students as well. So if your child is struggling with a particular subject, you can seek out help from their teacher, from a tutor, from another mentor or trusted adult who can help them understand the material and provide that new support that sometimes is what a student needs, just coming from a new place or explained in a different way. And lastly, we want to help students see the big picture. That's been a bit of a theme today, I think, helping them realize that each of these schoolwork tasks and assignments and subjects that we're learning are going to contribute to the big picture of their life. It's going to be helpful later in life, maybe asking them about career goals that they have or things that they really want to achieve later in life. If we can relate these school assignments that maybe students are lacking motivation in to a bigger goal, to the big picture of what might be happening in the future, it can be a really helpful push to get them started and complete those tasks with passion and excitement.
Yes, I completely agree, especially relating those tasks to them now even. Sometimes, yes, down the line, hey, when you're older, you're going to use this for this, or you need to know this for the next class, something like that. But explaining to fourth graders when I was teaching, you need to understand decimals, percentages, and multiplication to figure out sales tax when you go to the store, so that you are sure you have enough money before you go to the register and they tell you, oh, that's going to be, $5.65, and all they have is a 5 because it said, $4.99 or something. Just giving them that real life application and letting them know this is necessary. It creates that buy-in. Also, when you mentioned applying your real life, just thinking about what do I need help being motivated in and how do I find that motivation myself as an adult, we can apply that to kids too. So when you said, you don't like really, or you struggle to find motivation to clean your stovetop. Same here. So when you find motivation, please share with me how you do it because I need help too, and being able to admit I need help, I need to seek help, I need guidance, I need a mentor, a friend, a tutor, someone to be able to just guide me in the right direction. It's not a failure, it's being human. So, those were excellent points, Kelly. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. Do motivational techniques differ depending on the age of the learner? We've talked here about how we still need help being motivated, but does it look different for the younger kids versus for elementary compared to middle school, high schoolers, college kids, adults? How does it look different for them? Or does it?
Absolutely. I certainly believe it looks different. Not only does it differ based on their age group, but it can also differ from learner to learner. What works with one student might not work with the next. And in all the time that I spend with our outstanding tutors, I find one thing is said by almost all of them. I think all of them, you have to figure out what works for your student. So that might not happen in the first 5 minutes you're working with them, but if you get to know them and you try a few tasks and you pay close attention to what excites them and what maybe they aren't feeling so confident on, you are going to get to know them as a learner and figure out what is going to keep them motivated and engaged so that the work you do with them can be successful. And another thing that I think is constant among all ages of students is that we're going to find success in using motivation techniques that are going to increase their intrinsic motivation, that motivation that comes from within them, their curiosity, their excitement, their hopes and dreams and goals. We want to keep those in mind when we motivate them to work through schoolwork. We want to avoid asking students to do things just to get a star sticker or a point or a piece of candy. Those can be great ways to engage, especially those younger students students. But if it's the only way that we are motivating them, it may lead, to some short-term effects. They're going to do that task and then wipe it from their mind. I'm thinking about when I was in elementary school and one of my teachers would give you a point for every single book you read. Your parents would sign off, or, your caretakers, the people who spend time with you and can see that you're reading those books, would sign off every week on how many books or pages you read. And let me tell you, I read tons and tons, but I couldn't tell you what any of those books said or meant, or how they contributed to my overall understanding of the English language and reading comprehension and fluency and a love for reading. After all of those books read in succession, just to see those points go up on the chart, to see those little dots build, I really fell off the wagon after that. It took me a couple years to get back into wanting to read chapter books for fun and wanting to read on my own without someone telling me to do it or rewarding me for doing it. So we want to make sure that we are building students who find that motivation within them and find reasons to want to do these behaviors that are going to strengthen their skills as a learner, as well as their confidence and, their interest around certain subjects, and help them realize the importance of their work so that they can carry that motivation beyond a single task or assignment. So for elementary school students, we want to make sure to set high expectations for our students. We can praise their efforts rather than their results. So noticing how they did something and why they did it and how it contributed to what's happening in front of them, rather than just praising a completed worksheet or a turned in paper or whatever that more zoomed in version of the assignment might be. And as tutors and teachers and caretakers and parents, we can work to make the lessons fun and engaging, relate them to real life so that students can start to build that connection between their schoolwork with the bigger picture outside of school. And if students are motivated by rewards or prizes, that's certainly nothing to shy away from or make a student feel bad if that's something that makes them feel excited. We can make sure to use those rewards and ensure that they're related to the schoolwork, perhaps a field trip or a movie or a special book, a fiction book maybe that relates to the topic that we're reading about, taking breaks to relax and celebrate and talk about the work that we just did, visiting a museum or a park and then doing some play around the subject that we just learned a lot about, making sure that those rewards are present and students are feeling like they're being appreciated and that they've done a really good job, but relating them back to the schoolwork so that they are realistic rewards that they can continue to carry that learning with them moving forward. And for those older students, for middle and high school students, I have found great success in giving those students choice and autonomy over how they engage with their learning. We can help them to generate that enthusiasm around a given subject so that they aren't just content with completing an assignment or getting the grade or knowing just one way to solve a math problem. Rather, they will become excited to succeed and ask questions and learn more about a subject. And helping them in this way can make them feel valued and respected and make them feel as intelligent as they are, to avoid those feelings we mentioned earlier about, I'm not smart enough for math, or I can't read that whole book, look how long it is, avoiding some of those thoughts and feelings by helping students realize that if they make choices for their learning and find ways to complete assignments that work for them, then they will feel as smart and strong as we know that they are.
This has been completely insightful, Kelly. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us here today.
Thank you for having me. It was great.
If you enjoyed our discussion today, please like Firefly Tutors on all your social media hubs like Facebook and Instagram. Find us on Pinterest, where we pin all of our favorite resources for parents and tutors. At Firefly Tutors, we believe every student deserves the opportunity to develop to their highest potential. See you next time.